Okay, well, welcome to Mining Now, and we're recording live from the convention floor at Mine Expo in Las Vegas. And today I have the pleasure of talking with two gentlemen from General Kinematics. And welcome, we've got Tom Musschoot, who's the CEO of the company, and Jim Egan, who's VP of North American Sales and Marketing. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. No, I'm very interested. We've got some big equipment here we're going to talk about. And I guess, first of all, Mine Expo, how's it going for you guys?
I think day one has been fantastic. It's great to see that the attendance is up. You know, you go back through those COVID years, and I think everybody's back. It's been a fantastic start to this event, and a lot of great questions, a lot of interest in the product. So we're excited to have everybody here.
Oh, that's great. We're in the, for those people that aren't familiar with Mine Expo, we're in the central hall where all the big stuff is. And we're going to talk about some big stuff in a minute. But first of all, I wanted to get a little bit of background on you guys. And Tom, starting with you, what's your background and I think I know how you got involved in General Kinematics.
Right.
I'll let you tell us.
Sure. So my grandfather actually started General Kinematics back in 1960. He was an inventor who loved creating new things and worked for a number of different companies throughout his career and just got tired of the big company stuff, right? So struck out on his own, created General Kinematics. So pretty much my entire life I've been around this industry and around this type of equipment. It's fascinating to see it in action and to still be part of manufacturing in the U.S.
I was thinking as you were speaking, General Kinematics is in your blood, literally.
Literally,
Yeah.
yes.
How about you, Jim? What's your background?
Yeah, so my background would be more of a maintenance background. Worked for a couple companies in and around factories with a maintenance focus. Had an opportunity to interview with Tom, and everything he had to tell me about the company, I was just like, yeah, that's something I want to be a part of. Great family culture, and I signed up, and we've been at it ever since.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think the maintenance background, operator background is always important because you can understand the clients and their concerns and their challenges. So
that you're absolutely right. That's a huge part of it. You know, when you invest in capital equipment, you know, eventually somebody has to run it, somebody has to use it and maintain it. And because of my background, we always make sure that's part of the conversation, because those are the people that we really want to connect with, because we want to make their lives better to produce the product that whatever they're doing. So when you come at it through that lens, it's very helpful, and really appreciative of that background when I'm selling capital equipment.
yeah, for sure. Tom, we touched on a little bit of the history of the company, but were the origins of the company in vibratory feeders and this type of equipment, or did it evolve?
The actual origin of the company, yeah, the first few machines were vibratory feeders for the coal industry and food industry.
Oh, the food industry.
Right. And as we've matured throughout the decades, we've gone through different industries. Today, our biggest industries are mining, recycling, and foundry. So
Yeah.
a lot of primary heavy duty industrial equipment for industries like that.
You mentioned the food industry, and I had this image of M&Ms, and you're sorting the different color. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
No,
not what you do.
We've worked with M&M before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, I had a good visual there.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour, brought to you by Savona Equipment. Find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. And FogMaker. Protect lives and vehicles with FogMaker fire suppression systems, because safety can never be a compromise. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's Heavy Industry World Tour. Petro-Canada Lubricants leads the charge with cutting-edge lubricants and greases tailored to deliver outstanding equipment protection under severe loads over extreme temperatures and environments. From surface to underground mining, their products ensure maximum uptime and savings, extending drain intervals and boosting productivity. With Petro-Canada Lubricants by your side, expect not just lubricants, but total solutions designed to keep your operation running efficiently and effectively, even in the toughest conditions. Learn more at petrocanadalubricants.com. In mining, reliable connectivity is essential for both efficiency and safety. Communication engineers often struggle to maintain network coverage in tough environments. For over 20 years, Pointing has been at the forefront of solving these challenges with a range of circular polarized helical antennas. Their antennas support cellular and Wi-Fi networks and are tailored for both open pit and underground operations. Ensure reliable mining communication. Get in touch with Pointing now. Visit pointing.tech. Techway designs, manufactures, and services high-quality industrial scales and feeders. For over 50 years, processors of everything from French fries to frac sand have counted on Techway to provide the most durable, accurate, and reliable in-motion feeding, weighing, and metering equipment for their dried material handling needs. They specialize in providing tailored solutions that endure the test of time and material. Techway's quality line of products are proudly made in the USA. Learn more at techway.com.
So, Jim, let's talk about the products.
Sure.
I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Talk to people about the products. So, what's General Kinematics manufacturing and selling?
Yeah, so specifically here at Mine Expo, it's all about screening. And there's obviously a lot of big players here, and we brought one of our biggest screens. It's the STM brand of screens, and it services the mining industry so that when they're going through their process, they have a way to screen out the material that they're actually after that's going to produce whatever they're after. We're also here talking about a lot of our aggregate solutions. So if a person doesn't run a huge mine site, maybe they run a quarry, sand and gravel, all of those things fit vibratory screens, and that's what we're here talking about.
Yeah. So I saw on the website this term, which certain terms catch my eye, and the unstoppable screen.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
I think what we're really trying to highlight there is that we do something called two-mass technology, and it's where you have a secondary mass and you resonate that, and it transmits through our spring system into the trough body. And so when you're in a mine application and maybe it's after a sag mill and there's a surge of material, other types of screen that use a different type of technology, it will dampen out and even stop if too much material hits that screen deck. But with a two-mass technology, it actually will pick up in stroke because that material cannot dampen it out. It'll actually put more energy into it. And so that's kind of the thinking along being unstoppable.
So again, I get bits and pieces here because I know a little. I've installed nothing this big. I've installed a few, but I haven't operated them.
Mm-hmm.
We usually build them and hand them over to the mine.
Yeah.
But you also talk about how the two-mass approach is different than brute force.
Right.
And you touched on that before. Can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So in a brute force application, you're going to take your motors and you're going to mount them in some way directly to the trough body. And just inherently, whether we did it or somebody else does it, there can be some flaws or some detriments to that type of a process where all that energy is going into the side wall. And that can lead to failures, which goes back to our maintenance conversation.
Yeah.
With the two-mass technology, your motors are actually mounted to that secondary mass. And then again, resonant frequency is what's going to excite the lower half, and that's where all the work is happening on that screen deck.
So I know from my experience with mining, I'm on a couple of boards, and we talk about capital versus operating cost.
Mm-hmm.
And capital is usually pretty obvious. You get a quote.
Right.
The operating cost,
Yeah.
maybe not so obvious, but your systems are geared to address that.
I would again agree with you very, very wholeheartedly on that fact.
I'm quoting your website.
Well,
so that's my knowledge.
You will have to give a shout out to our marketing team for sure. When you're talking about operating costs, I think the big thing that people are going to go to is downtime, and there cannot be downtime in a mining application. You know this. Yeah. And so with these machines, and what we're seeing is that when we replace a brute force screen, we have got examples where sometimes they're having to be taken out of service, every 4 to 6 months.
It's a huge job.
It's a huge job. And then they've got two screens that they're constantly trying to match to their planned downtimes. Mm-hmm. And if a sidewall cracks, then that becomes unplanned downtime, which is not acceptable. Our screens, because we're not putting those motors directly on the trough, on the side of the troughs, we're not having those same inherent failures as a brute force style. Yeah. And what that does is that can mean the screen could be in operation for 5, 6, 7 years, depending on what type of product they're mining. But in our big iron ore facilities, we're seeing 5 years runtime without having to be replaced. And so that is what matters to those companies.
Yeah. No, the people often think of operating costs as the parts and the maintenance, but the downtime is the most expensive part of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't afford to. I mean, what they're doing is it's so valuable. And so any moment that they're not taking advantage of that huge infrastructure that they've, paid to put in place, is harmful to their business.
Yeah.
And so we certainly take that very seriously, and everything we do is designed to run and not go down.
Yeah.
CIM is Canada's leading technical institute dedicated to the sustainability of our industry. Members enjoy professional growth opportunities through CIM libraries, publications, webinars, societies, and the job board. Experience the CIM community firsthand at the Conference of Metallurgists, August 19th to 22nd, iCard, September 16th to 20th, and the CIM Health and Safety Conference, October 6th to 8th. Visit CIM.org for more information and join CIM today. Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graymond's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com. Austin Powder uses Paradigm to meet customer requirements and enhance blast efficiency and production. Paradigm offers several advanced features including fragmentation modeling, PPV and PVS reduction, charging and timing analysis, fly rock prediction, energy distribution, 3D blast modeling, muck pile footprint prediction, and overpressure prediction. With these innovative tools and state-of-the-art software, Austin Powder provides comprehensive blast analysis and optimization. Explore more about Austin Powder and cutting-edge products at austinpowder.com.
You're an American born and bred company,
Right.
but your market, I assume, is larger than that.
Correct.
Not just mining, but other industries as well. You mentioned before.
Right. So our headquarters is in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That's where we do all our engineering for our global customers, but we do manufacture around the world. As you can see by the size of this machine, you don't just put it on a boat and ship it to Australia.
Build it in the garage and put it
No.
on your boat trailer.
No,
That's how it works.
it's not practical to move these large machines around the world
Yeah.
from Chicago. So we do manufacture with outsourced partners around the world. We have offices located throughout Asia and in Europe as well to service our customers.
Okay, so that's geographical market. Jim,
Mhm.
what type of market are you looking at in the mining industry? And this is my question. I'm an underground guy.
Mhm.
Okay, I wouldn't put this underground. It's pretty big to put underground. But
Correct.
so who are you selling to, and what commodities and what type of mines?
Yeah, well, this screen right here was actually built with copper in mind. So
Okay.
we're big into copper mines. We do a lot in limestone, gold. It really is a universal screen. What we'll do is we'll trade out the screen media on the inside to kind of get the fractions that they're interested in.
Okay,
You mentioned the underground mines up in Timmins, Ontario. We have a lot of our feeders, just the basic feeder
Yeah.
that are underground there. So you wouldn't put this big screen there, but they've got hundreds of our feeders underground.
I think we installed a couple of them.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good to hear that if you mess up the installation, it still works.
Yeah.
That's what you said, wasn't it?
No, that is not what I said.
Okay, I misunderstood. But another thing, depending on what you're involved with in mining, sometimes those of us in the commodities don't recognize the market that aggregates because it's a volume market and it's a global market.
Mhm.
And you guys are in it, or you're getting into it, or
So we started on that journey probably about 4 years ago.
okay,
And for us, because we'd been on the mining side for decades, and I kind of liken it to the boxing, right? If you're a heavyweight, it's okay, you can drop some weight and go compete at a lower level. And not that it's any less competition, but just your body is shaped differently.
Yeah.
You trim some weight, and so that's what we've done. We've got a screen of products, or a line of screening products out there that I think the aggregate market is becoming more. They're adopting.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're excited about, and will continue to grow.
I'd like to talk to people about this because mining industry, I think it's an innovative industry, but sometimes adoption is a problem.
Right.
So you guys are doing some new things, some interesting things that people might not be familiar with. How is that being accepted in the industry, or how does the industry see it?
So this STM is a great example. It's a fantastic machine. It does things that no other screen can do. But getting people that have been using the same technology for 100 years, they don't believe it, right? They actually need to see it to believe it. So a lot of word of mouth and getting people out to see the installations is great. We have a full service R&D facility at our Crystal Lake location where customers can send us their material, come in and witness what these machines can actually do to prove out what you see on our website.
That's really interesting. Like you can send a bulk sample in and see how it actually reacts to the equipment.
Correct.
Boy, that's a great idea. And so what's next? I mean, you've got, you're not putting a new one of these out every week, but what do you see on the horizon for General Kinematics?
From a strategy standpoint, I think a lot of companies, and we see that here at Mine Expo, are putting a lot of time and energy into the information that can be gathered, kind of to make sure that they have an operation that they can know every aspect of a screen or how much is being processed. So it's going toward AI. In our factory business, it's Factory 4.0 is a lot of time and energy is being spent into that. But to have a full array of sensors that can transmit back to the control room so that somebody, regardless of where they are in the world, can know the actual health of all the equipment and the overall health of the operation.
So that's very interesting. And for someone that doesn't know anything about AI, that could be a real challenge. I think if each mine maybe is using a different system, you've got equipment before and after your feeders. So you've got to work with other groups, I would think, to
absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say it has to be where those groups that are going to tie the overall mine together. They would need to be able to have the right inputs from our machine. So we'd have to be able to interface with them. But you look at what some of the earth moving equipment is doing and autonomous vehicles and some of that, they're going to be able to time out when all those trucks arrive and how the process is going to get started. So as those trucks arrive back to the beginning of the process, they should be able to tell exactly when and how much material will be hitting our screen. And I think that's great information for them. And it's going to be where the future is.
We're just beginning to figure out what we can do with that data.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you've sold a piece of equipment to a client. It's been installed. What else do you do for them?
Well, we're gonna make sure that they're absolutely completely satisfied with what they've purchased. Right. When enough work goes in during the upfront process that they should know exactly what they've purchased. But then we're going to be there alongside them to make sure that it starts up correctly, that everything goes as smooth as possible. And then, when we get 1-2 years down the line, we'll do health inspections. We have a full team of dedicated employees that are our field service group. And since they're our direct employees, they know this equipment inside and out. And so if a customer needs us, we're there.
For service, for support, are you training their maintenance people as well?
Absolutely.
They get to know the equipment.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a big part of it. Most customers want that worked into the upfront purchase of the equipment. But even if they don't, we want to make sure that we're there to train their maintenance staff because they're there 24/7.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And really maintenance and uptime are bred into the culture of our company. So everybody from the floor up to me, we focus on making sure we're there. We never walk away from a customer, regardless of a situation. We're there to support you as a partner throughout the whole installation and startup of your machine.
Yeah, very good. So I'm going to ask each of you, Jim. I'll start with you. Any final thoughts you want to leave with our audience today?
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate this time, and I think Tom alluded to it. This is kind of like the best kept secret. And it is because there is a natural kind of, I don't want to change mentality.
Yeah.
And for those companies that are open-minded, they can see huge, massive efficiency improvements. And I really hope people that will hear this and see this and say, well, I want to learn more, right? It is a process to figure out if it's the right fit. But for those companies that are open-minded and want to do something different and can think a little bit, maybe outside the box, if you will. I think this STM screen and what we're doing on the mining side is a great thing to look at and potentially invest in.
Well, in our business, we call them forward-thinking clients.
Oh, I love it.
And anyway, I won't even get into that. But Tom, any final words for our audience?
Yeah, well, you mentioned forward-thinking clients, and as the generations are changing here too, we're seeing a lot of different people asking different questions, and that's exciting to see some new thought being put into all the industries we serve of trying new things, doing different things. And like Jim just alluded to, this is a new thing. So like you said, come and check us out.
Very good. Yeah, very interesting. And the fact that we have the machine here working.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any material in it, but
Nope.
okay, but it works.
We have a standing policy since the founding of the company that we never have a static display of vibratory equipment at a trade show. Because what's that showing? You got to see it run.
Good. So you're a dynamic company.
Yes.
Okay, not static.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Tom Musschoot, the CEO of the company, and Jim Egan, who's the VP of Sales and Marketing for North America from General Kinematics. And to you, our audience, thank you for joining us for another edition of Mining Now with General Kinematics. And if you want to connect with either Tom or Jim, you can connect through their LinkedIn profile. Thank you to our audience for joining us for another edition of Mining Now. This one from Mine Expo in Las Vegas.